ABC Newcastle.
Up ahead in this next half hour, your thoughts on whether we should follow New Zealand and go with their, well, at least have a national conversation about updating our flag. Your thoughts are welcome on 1333 1233. And I wonder whether you've got a view that's in favour of those who work in the retail industry. In particular, it's the Shop Distributive and Allied Employees Association. There's a busload of them heading down to Sydney today to be a part of a forum where they'll hear from community and religious leaders on whether or not public holidays that we traditionally know, the likes of Easter, Anzac, for example, should be abandoned, and every day should be a day that the retail industry is open. We're just 5 weeks shy of the Easter Anzac weekend, and if you're a clever Billy and got organised in advance and took 3 days off between those days, you'd be getting a run of a 10-day break for only using 3 days of your annual leave. If you're a retail worker, it's unlikely that you get any of that time off. Maybe Good Friday, half of Anzac Day. The retail union, the Shop Assistants Union, says it will fight any extension of retail trading hours over the Easter long weekend. According to them, retail workers work 360.5 days a year. That means there's only 4.5 days when the shops don't open. As I said, there's a whole bunch of them heading down to Sydney to a forum on this morning. How strong is the pressure to make every day a shopping day? And is that just the way of modern life? David Bliss is the Assistant Secretary of the Newcastle and Northern branch of what's known as the Shoppies. He's with me now. David Bliss, are you on this bus?
I'm not on the bus at the moment, but good morning, Jill. But we do have 2 busloads of delegates coming down from Maitland, from Glendale and Arimba. So we're looking forward to a great day. Okay,
so just give me a sense of how strong is the pressure at the moment to abandon what we know traditionally as public holidays where the shops aren't open. Your Christmas Day, your Easter Sunday, your Anzac Day. Is there really pressure to abandon those days?
Oh, there certainly is. It's been a constant theme over recent years with numerous reviews of the shop trading legislation by both the former Labor government and the O'Farrell government more recently. That led up to a bill in Parliament just 2 years ago, which was introduced but then subsequently abandoned because there is a widespread support for retail workers and their families and the community to have a little bit of respite from all the shopping which is put on their plate.
Okay, but you say that there's support for those who work in retail, and you've got some 13,000 members. Because you're saying that there's support for them having some days off. Can't they just say I don't want to work that day?
That would be nice, and the law reflects voluntary work, but we know from certain what they call tourist resort areas where shops are given an exemption to trade that workers are put under tremendous pressure to work on these days. We have members who work in fast food, in petrol stations, in retail, and they all come back to us and say this, and their industrial arrangements might say it's voluntary, but enormous pressure is put on them to actually to perform work. So we would say that the only way to ensure that people get a decent break, particularly those busy times of year and those days of celebration, it is to make sure the shops are closed.
To make sure the shops are closed. Do you agree? I wonder, at 9:10 away from 9 on 12:33 ABC Newcastle, so many traditional things that we've kind of understood to be norms, David, are changing now, given the 24/7 reality of life in Western countries such as ours. Isn't this really just the next thing?
No, I don't think it should be, and I think at least 2/3 of the community agree that we're getting to this pointy end of where is the work-life balance, which we should have, and most people want to have in their working lives. I guess the argument for shop trading is often put in the context of creating more jobs, more shopping opportunities, more convenience, and that sort of thing.
Seems a pretty compelling argument to me, though.
Yeah, but it's all rhetoric, unfortunately. We got the McKell Institute to do some analysis recently for the union, and it makes it very clear that there is no growth of the economic pie. There is no growth of jobs as a consequence. So a lot of the things which are said to support this proposition, shops being open for trade, simply is not true when you actually put it under the microscope.
Okay, you've analysed this, or had it analysed, and there's no real economic benefit from abandoning those traditional public holidays, Anzac Day, Easter, Sunday, Saturday, and Christmas Day.
That's correct. That's correct.
Interesting.
And on the consumer convenience side, 2/3 of the community actually support the proposition that the shops should remain closed to allow retail workers and their family just these small opportunities to have time off.
How comprehensive is that study that shows 2/3 of the community supports retail workers having some time off?
It was a survey. It was a properly balanced poll conducted by Essential Media Communications just recently. So it's not kind of a number which we've pulled out of thin air.
Isn't the upside for workers in that situation that they'll get extra pay on those days, though, David?
There would be a small proportion, we would say, of people who would like to do it, but increasingly when we speak to our members, they say, listen, we just want a break. We work very hard on the lead up to the Christmas period. We work very hard also in relation to the time leading up to Easter. Having a couple of days off, or days off in our road to enjoy those occasions with family, which everyone else gets to do, is very important to them. And what we are also told is that it's not as if you get the penalty rates on the day, which is true. What the employers tend to do is actually reduce hours around that time and reduce the work opportunities to pay the bill for the penalty rate. So there's no great growth in people's earnings as a consequence. What's given with one hand is taken away with the other.
Interesting. David Bliss, Assistant Secretary of the shop workers who are heading down for a forum in Sydney. Because, as I understand it, David, you think the pressure is really on now, that things like Easter Sunday are going to go?
Absolutely. We know that through a number of reviews that there are particularly shopping centre interests who are very vocal in loosening up and deregulating these laws. But the reality is there's no great appetite from our members, and from what we can see, there's not the big appetite from consumers also, which we're told it exists. Okay,
good to hear from you this morning, David Bliss. A couple of busloads of employees from retail workers from the Hunter heading down for a forum in Sydney on this. Do you agree that there's no appetite for the shops opening on, Anzac Day, Easter Sunday, Christmas Day? I'd love to know what you think on that. 9:15, 1333 1233 is the number. The text is 0487 99 1233. News coming your way at 9 o'clock this morning, but let me